Okay, this is the public reading for November 23rd. It's going to be the Torah reading and the gospel reading. The Torah reading is Genesis 23:1 through 25:18. The gospel reading is Matthew 9-10. So let's start with the Torah reading, Genesis 23, verse 1. And Sarah lived 127 years. These were the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died in Kiriath Arba, that is, Hebron, and the land of Canaan. And Abraham went to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. And Abraham rose up from his dead, and he spoke to the Hittites, and he said, I am a stranger and an alien among you. Give to me my own burial site among you, so that I may bury my dead from before me. And the Hittites answered Abraham and said to him, Hear us, my lord. You are a mighty prince in our midst. Bury your dead in the choicest of our burial sites. None of us will withhold his burial site from you, for burying your dead. And Abraham rose up and bowed to the people of the land, to the Hittites. And he spoke with them, saying, If you are willing that I bury my dead from before me, hear me and intercede for me with Ephron the son of Zohar, that he might sell to me the cave of Machpelah, which belongs to him, which is at the end of his field. At full value, let him sell it to me in your midst as a burial site. Now Ephron was sitting among the Hittites, and Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the hearing of the Hittites with respect to all who were entering the gate of his city, and said, No, my lord, hear me. I give you the field and the cave which is in it. I also give it to you in the sight of the children of my people. I give it to you. Bury your dead. And Abraham bowed before the people of the land. And he spoke to Ephron in the hearing of the people of the land, saying, If only you will hear me, I give the price of the field. Take it from me, that I may bury my dead there. And Ephron answered Abraham, saying to him, My lord, hear me, a piece of land worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that between me and you? Bury your dead. Then Abraham listened to Ephron. And Abraham weighed for Ephron the silver that he had named in the hearing of the Hittites, 400 shekels of silver at the merchant's current rate. So the field of Ephron, which was in the Machpelah, which was near the Mamre, the field and the cave which was in it, with all the trees that were in the field, which were within all its surrounding boundaries, passed to Abraham as a property in the presence of the Hittites with respect to all who were entering the gate of the city. And thus afterward Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah near Mamre, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And the field and the cave which was in it passed to Abraham as a burial site from the Hittites. Okay. Now Abraham was old, advanced in age, and Yahweh had blessed Abraham in everything. And Abraham said to his servant, the oldest of his house, who had charge of all he had, Please, put your hand under my thigh, that I may make you swear by Yahweh, the God of heaven and the God of earth, that you will not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose midst I am dwelling, but that you will go to my land and to my family, and take a wife for my son, for Isaac. And the servant said to him, Perhaps the woman will not be willing to follow me to this land. Must I then return your son to the land from whence you came? Abraham said to him, You must take care that you do not return my son there. Yahweh, the God of heaven, who took me from the house of my father and from the land of my family, and who spoke to me and swore to me, saying, To your offspring I will give this land. He will send his angel before you, and you shall take a wife for my son from there. And if the woman is not willing to follow you, then you shall be released from this oath of mine. Only you must not return my son there. Then the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and he swore to him concerning this matter. And the servant took 10 camels from his master's camels, and he went with all kinds of his master's good things in his hand. And he arose and went to Aram Naharaim, to the city of Nahor. And he made the camels kneel outside the city at the well of water at the time of evening, toward the time the women went out to draw water. And he said, O Yahweh, God of my master Abraham, please grant me success today, and show loyal love to my master Abraham. Behold, I am standing by the spring of water, and the daughters of the men of the city are going out to draw water. Let it be that the girl to whom I shall say, Please offer your jar that I may drink, and who says, Drink, and I will also water your camels. She is the one you have chosen for your servant, for Isaac. By her I will know that you've shown loyal love to my master. By her I will know that you have shown loyal love to my master. And it happened that before he had finished speaking, behold, Rebekah, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, the brother of Abraham, came out, and her jar was on her shoulder. Now the girl was very pleasing in appearance. She was a virgin, no man had known her, And she went down to the spring, filled her jar, and came up. And the servant ran to meet her. And he said, "Please, let me drink a little of the water from your jar." And she said, "Drink, my lord." And she quickly lowered her jar in her hand and gave him a drink. When she finished giving him a drink, she said, "I will also draw water for your camels until they finish drinking." And she quickly emptied her jar into the trough and ran again to the well to draw water. And she drew water for all his camels. And the man was gazing at her silently to know if Yahweh had made his journey successful or not. And it happened that as the camels finished drinking, the man took a gold ring of half a shekel in weight and 2 bracelets for her arms, 10 shekels in weight, and said, "Please tell me, whose daughter are you? Is there a place at the house of your father for us to spend the night?" And she said to him, "I am the daughter of Betuel, son of Milcha, whom she bore to Nahor." Then she said to him, "We have both straw and fodder in abundance, as well as a place to spend the night." And the man knelt down and worshipped Yahweh. And he said, "Blessed be Yahweh, God of my master Abraham, who has not withheld his loyal love and his faithfulness from my master. I was on the way, and Yahweh led me to the house of my master's brother." Then the girl ran and reported these things to the household of her mother. Now Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And Laban ran out to meet the man toward the spring. And when he saw the ring and the bracelets on the arm of his sister, and heard the words of Rebekah his sister, who said, "Thus the man spoke to me," he went to the man. And behold, he was standing with the camels at the spring. And he said, "Come, O blessed one of Yahweh, why do you stand outside? Now I have prepared the house and a place for the camels." And the man came to the house and unloaded the camels. And he gave straw and fodder to the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the feet of the men who were with him. And food was placed before him to eat. And he said, "I will not eat until I have told my errand." And he said, "Speak." And he said, "I am the servant of Abraham. Now Yahweh has blessed my master exceedingly, and he has become great. He has given to him sheep and cattle, silver and gold, male slaves and female slaves, and camels and donkeys. And Sarah, the wife of my master, has borne a son to my master after her old age, and he has given to him all that he has. And my master made me swear, saying, 'Do not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites in whose land I am living, but you shall go to the house of my father and to my family, and you shall take a wife for my son.' And I said to my master, 'Perhaps the woman will not follow me.' And he said, 'Yahweh, before whom I have walked, shall send his angel with you and will make your journey successful. And you shall take a wife for my son from my family and from the house of my father. Then you shall be released from my oath when you come to my family. And if they will not give a woman to you, then you will be released from my oath.' Then today I came to the spring, and I said, 'O Yahweh, God of my master Abraham, if you would please make my journey successful upon which I am going, behold, I am standing by the spring of water. Let it be that the young woman who comes out to draw water, and to whom I say, "Please give me a little water to drink from your jar," let her say to me, "Drink. I will also draw water for your camels." She is the woman whom Yahweh has appointed for the son of my master." I had not yet finished speaking to myself, and behold, Rebekah was coming out with her jar on her shoulder. And she went down to the spring and drew water. And I said to her, "Please give me a drink." And she hastened and let down her jar from her shoulder and said, "Drink, and I will also give a drink to your camels also." And then I asked her and said, "Whose daughter are you?" And she said, "The daughter of Betuel, son of Nahor, whom Milcah bore to him." And I put the ring on her nose and the bracelets on her arms. And I knelt down and worshiped Yahweh. And I praised Yahweh, the God of my master Abraham, who led me on the right way to take the daughter of the brother of my master for his son. So now, if you are going to deal loyally and truly with my master, tell me. And if not, tell me, so that I may turn to the right or to the left." Then Laban and Betuel answered, and they said, "The matter has gone out from Yahweh. We are not able to speak bad or good to you. Here is Rebekah before you. Take her and go. Let her be a wife for the son of your master, as Yahweh has spoken." And it happened that when the servant of Abraham heard their words, he bowed down to the ground to Yahweh. And the servant brought out silver jewelry and gold jewelry and garments, and he gave them to Rebekah. And he gave precious gifts to her brother and to her mother. And he and the men who were with him ate and drank, and they spent the night. And they got up in the morning, and he said, "Let me go to my master." And her brother and her mother said, "Let the girl remain with us 10 days or so. After that, she may go." And he said to them, "Do not delay me. Now Yahweh has made my journey successful. Let me go. I must go to my master." And they said, "Let us call the girl and ask her opinion." And they called Rebekah and said to her, "Will you go with this man?" And she said, "I will go." So they sent away Rebekah, their sister, and her nurse, and the servant of Abraham and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, "You are our sister. May you become countless thousands, and may your offspring take possession of the gate of his enemies." And Rebekah and her maidservants arose, and they mounted the camels and followed the man. And the servant took Rebekah and left. Now Isaac was coming from the direction of Be'er Lahai Roi, and he was living in the land of the Negev. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field early in the evening. And he lifted up his eyes and saw, behold, camels were coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes and saw Isaac, and she got down from the camel. And she said to the servant, who is the man walking around in the field to meet us? And the servant said, that is my master. And she took her veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all the things that he had done. And Isaac brought her to the tent of Sarah his mother. And he took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And Isaac loved her, and was comforted after the death of his mother. Now, Abraham again took a wife, and her name was Keturah, and she bore to him Zimran, Yokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. And Yokshan fathered Sheba and Dedan. And the sons of Dedan were Asherim, and Letushim, and Leumim. And the sons of Midian were Ephcha, Epher, Chanoch, Avidah, and Eldah. All of these were the children of Keturah. And Abraham gave all he had to Isaac. But to the sons of Abraham's concubines, Abraham gave gifts. And while he was still living, he sent them away eastward, away from his son Isaac, to the land of the east. Now, these are the days of the years of the life of Abraham, 175 years. And Abraham passed away and died in a good old age, old and full of years. And he was gathered to his people. And Isaac and Ishmael, his sons, buried him in the cave of Machpelah, in the field of Ephron, son of Zohar, the Hittite, that was east of Mamre, the field that Abraham had bought from the Hittites. There Abraham was buried, and Sarah his wife. And it happened that after the death of Abraham, God blessed Isaac his son, and Isaac settled at Be'er Lahai Roi. Now, these are the generations of Ishmael, the son of Abraham, that Hagar the Egyptian, the maidservant of Sarah, bore to Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names, according to their family records. The firstborn of Ishmael was Neviot, then Kedar, Advil, Mivsam, Mishma, Duma, Masa, Chadad, Tema, Yetur, Naphish, and Kedemah. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names by their villages and by their encampments, 12 leaders according to their princes, or according to their tribes. Now these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. And he passed away and died, and was gathered to his people. They settled from Havilah to Shur, which was opposite Egypt. Going toward Ashur, opposite, he settled opposite all his brothers. Okay. All right. Now it's time for the gospel reading, starting in Matthew 9. And getting into a boat, he crossed over and came to his own town. And behold, they brought to him a paralytic lying on a stretcher. And when Yeshua saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, have courage, child, your sins are forgiven. And behold, some of the scribes said to themselves, this man is blaspheming. And knowing their thoughts, Yeshua said, why do you think evil in your hearts? For which is easier to say, your sins are forgiven, or to say, get up and walk? But in order that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins, then he said to the paralytic, get up, pick up your stretcher, and go to your home. And he got up and went to his home. But when the crowd saw this, they were afraid and glorified God, who had given such authority to men. And as Yeshua was going away from there, he saw a man called Matthew sitting at the tax booth and said to him, follow me. And he stood up and followed him. And it happened as he was dining in the house, behold, many tax collectors and sinners were coming and dining with Yeshua and his disciples. And when they saw it, the Pharisees began to say to his disciples, why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners? And when he heard it, he said, those who are healthy do not have need of a physician, but those who are sick. But go and learn what it means. I want mercy and not sacrifice. For I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners. Then the disciples of John approached him, saying, why do we and the Pharisees fast often, but your disciples do not fast? And Yeshua said to them, the bridegroom's attendants are not able to mourn, as long as the bridegroom is with them. But days are coming when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast. But no one puts a patch of unshrunken cloth on an old garment, for its patch pulls away from the garment, and the tear becomes worse. Nor do they put new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, the wineskins burst, and the wine is spilled, and the wineskins are destroyed. But they put new wine into new wineskins, and both are preserved. As he was saying these things to them, behold, one of the rulers came and knelt down before him, saying, my daughter has just now died, but come, place your hand on her, and she will live. And Yeshua and his disciples got up and followed him. And behold, a woman who had been suffering with a hemorrhage 12 years approached from behind and touched the edge of his cloak. For she said to herself, if only I touch his cloak, I will be healed. But Yeshua, turning around and seeing her, said, have courage, daughter. Your faith has healed you. And the woman was healed from that hour. And when Yeshua came into the ruler's house and saw the flute players and the disorderly crowd, he said, go away, because the girl is not dead, but is sleeping. And they ridiculed him. But when the crowd had been sent out, he entered and took her hand, and the girl got up. And this report went out into that whole region. And as Yeshua was going away from there, 2 blind men followed him, crying out and saying, have mercy on us, son of David. And when he came into the house, the blind men approached him, and Yeshua said to them, do you believe that I am able to do this? They said to him, yes, Lord. Then he touched their eyes, saying, according to your faith, let it be done for you. And their eyes were opened, and Yeshua sternly warned them, saying, see that no one finds out. But they went out and spread the report about him in that whole region. Now, as they were going away, behold, they brought to him a demon-possessed man who was unable to speak. And after the demon had been expelled, the one who had been mute spoke, and the crowds were astonished, saying, this has never been seen before in Israel. But the Pharisees were saying, by the ruler of demons, he expels the demons. And Yeshua was going around all the towns and the villages, teaching in their synagogues, and proclaiming the good news of the kingdom, and healing every disease and every sickness. And when he saw the crowds, he had compassion for them, because they were weary and dejected, like sheep that did not have a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Therefore, ask the Lord of the harvest that he send out workers into his harvest. And summoning his 12 disciples, he gave them authority over unclean spirits, so that they could expel them and could heal every disease and every sickness. Now, these are the names of the 12 apostles. First, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, James, the son of Zebedee, and John, his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew, the tax collector, James, the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, Simon the zealot, and Judas Iscariot, the one who also betrayed him. Yeshua sent out these 12, instructing them, saying, do not go on the road to the Gentiles, and do not enter into a city of the Samaritans, but go instead to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you are going, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven has come near. Heal those who are sick, raise the dead, cleanse lepers, expel demons. Freely you have received, freely give. Do not procure gold or silver or copper for your belts. Do not take a traveler's bag for the road, or 2 tunics, or sandals, or a staff, for the worker is deserving of his provisions. And into whatever town or village you enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and stay there until you depart. And when you enter into the house, greet it. And if the house is worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it is not worthy, let your peace return to you. And whoever does not welcome you or listen to your words, shake off the dust from your feet as you are going out of that house or that town. Truly, I say to you, it will be more bearable for the region of Sodom and Gomorrah on the day of judgment than for that town. Behold, I am sending you out like sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore, be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. But beware of people, because they will hand you over to councils, and they will flog you in their synagogues, and you will be brought before both governors and kings because of me, for a witness to them and to the Gentiles. But whenever they hand you over, do not be anxious how to speak or what you should say, for what you should say will be given to you at that hour. For you are not the ones who are speaking, but the Spirit of your Father who is speaking through you. And brother will hand over brother to death, and a father his children, and children will rise up against parents and have them put to death, and you will be hated by everyone because of my name. But the one who endures to the end, this one will be saved. And whenever they persecute you in this town, flee to another. For truly I say to you, you will never finish going through the towns of Israel until the Son of Man comes. A disciple is not superior to his teacher, nor a slave superior to his master. It is enough for the disciple that he become like his teacher, and the slave like his master. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebul, how much more the members of his household? Therefore, do not be afraid of them, because nothing is hidden that will not be revealed, and nothing secret that will not become known. What I say to you in the dark, tell in the light, and what you hear in your ear, proclaim on the housetops. And do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. But instead, be afraid of the one who is able to destroy both soul and body in Gehenna. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? And one of them will not fall to the ground without the knowledge and consent of your Father. And even the hairs of your head are all numbered. Therefore, do not be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. Therefore, everyone who acknowledges me before people, I also will acknowledge him before my Father who is in heaven. But whoever denies me before people, I also will deny him before my Father who is in heaven. Do not think that I have come to bring peace on the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to turn a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And the enemies of a man will be the members of his household. The one who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And the one who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take up his cross and follow me is not worthy of me. The one who finds his life will lose it, and the one who loses his life because of me will find it. The one who receives you receives me, and the one who receives me receives the one who sent me. The one who receives a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and the one who receives a righteous person in the name of a righteous person will receive a righteous person's reward. And whoever gives one of these little ones only a cup of cold water to drink in the name of a disciple, truly, I say to you, he will never lose his reward. Okay, bless you guys.